Is the market quietly crashing? I don't know. I think we're in a holding pattern. I'm learning to trade on the US 30. My buddy Reese has been teaching me, and his mentor has been teaching me how to trade. I'm not trading real money, I'm trading demo dollars, is what I call it. But I'm seeing the market kind of go into equilibrium or balance. This guy, his name escapes me now, but it's the National Real Estate Post. He's a lender up in Vallejo. He's an amazingly smart guy, and he talks about what's going on in the market. So, like Ryan Lundquist, who's my stats muse, this guy does great stats as well, sharing all the information I gather. But for me, I think it's smart for me to bring this to you so that you have a quick down and dirty of what they're saying. So what they're saying is across the US, we're seeing a recession, right? In the Bay Area, I don't know if we have that just yet. I see prices continuing to go year over year, month over month, except for this last month. It sucked. But that's just because we were in anticipation. Some people were getting desperate to sell, and buyers took advantage of that. So will the market come back? Depends. I know a lot of people that are unemployed right now. I know a lot of people that are fearful that they might lose their jobs. Does that mean that we're going to see a crash? Does that mean that the real estate market will trigger the crash? No, I think the automotive market is going to be the downfall of this market. And we're going to start seeing news articles about shadow inventory of repossessions on the mainstream news. Now, right now, we're seeing it on streams, on shorts, on different, Crash Bros videos and things like that. I don't think we're going to see it for another couple of weeks or a couple months. The house of cards that we're built on, automotive, housing, military, defense, healthcare, GDP, I think we're all stacked up on a house of cards. And if that falls, one thing falls, I think the whole house will fall. It could come from China, right? That could bring down the entire global economy, which could hurt a lot of people. So housing, I don't know if that's a great place to be if you think you want to hedge your money and keep inflation going. However, housing has consistently always matched inflation, the inflation of the dollar. Same with gold. So consider gold. I know gold's really expensive right now, but in order to stave off deflationary tactics or deflationary actions of the dollar, maybe buy some gold because that will hold its value a lot longer. Housing supply shortage awaits generational relay. This is the silver tsunami. The silver tsunami means as people age out and pass on, they tend to give up their homes or empty nest or get smaller homes, which for new generations to come in. However, new generations want to buy new homes. And so we have to see this action of new home buyers settling in. 5 to 7 years later, they buy another house because their family's expanding or what have you. And then they move into a bigger house. And then some of them make it really big, and then they buy the $50 million houses, which is great. But in between, you have houses like the Cupertino house or the Saratoga house, which are $5 to $7 million, right? What's stopping that, our bottleneck, if you would, is generational homeowners or aging homeowners are staying in place. They're not moving on. And in California, it's especially desperate because we have Proposition 19 and Proposition 13, which keeps taxes low for those people. If you bought a house for $200,000, your tax basis goes up 2% every year for the most max. Outside in Texas and other different states, we don't have those protections. So if you bought a house for $50,000, $70,000, $100,000, and now it's worth $500,000, you're paying taxes on $500,000. That's just the way it is. That's why Florida and Texas are piping up about getting rid of property tax because they think it's unconstitutional or unfair or whatever. It's for the generational, the older folks that are no longer generating income and they're resting on their savings and their retirement to get them through the rest of their lives. And when taxes do that, it kind of forces them to empty nest and get out and get into an apartment or a smaller condo or something because they don't really need to be in a larger house. This article talks about that going into opening up the supply chain, opening up the next generational homes or the next step, not necessarily first-time homebuyer homes, but the next step, the next home for you to buy as you move on. You want to buy a nicer house. In 2020, 2021, you bought the house that you could afford or could scrape together and get in and pay $200,000 to $400,000 over. Today, you're able to move over to the next house. It's going to cost you a lot more because interest rates are more expensive, which is something that will over time level out. Right now, we're seeing rates go back up towards 7%. And right now, I think the unquoted rate is 6.3 today. So this is a great article to read. It actually helps you understand the logic behind what's going on in our market. So take a look. If you haven't done so yet, download this home inspection checklist. I know I harp on it all the time, but I think it's a big value to you, especially if you're thinking about selling in the next 3 to 6 months. You can download this, go through the checklist, and find things that you need to have repaired, then call the handyman or the painter, the plumber, and get things fixed. And then you can bring in your inspector so they can give you a clean report, and always disclose things that you repair. There, Los Gatos Home of the Week. I think I picked this one right here. Even though it's in the fire zone, I still like it because to me, this is a grand mansion. I think this is a great value because you're in Los Gatos and not Palo Alto. All the homes seem to be in San Mateo County or Palo Alto because that's where all the bazillionaires live. But if you really want a nice estate, this is a nice 20-acre plot of land with 6 bedrooms on it. It's almost 10,000 square feet, built in 1937. Let's take a quick look inside if we can. Wow, very stately. This is a beautiful house. I love the cats. Los Gatos. I hope that's not laminate. I hope that's real wood. Wow. Guys, this is a beautiful house. Okay. Again, these links are in the back. This is Los Gatos Home of the Week. And then highs and lows. This is the most expensive house sold in Santa Clara County this week. It was also the lowest list price to sales price ratio, 74.5. Listed at about $10 million and it sold for 7.45. Took 141 days to sell. So you got a 25% discount on it because they tried to make it a market maker. It wasn't a market maker because something was overpriced, and then they got desperate and they took it. Where is this? This is Kennedy Road. Let's open this up so you can take a look. There it is. It's off there, off of Los Gatos, but it's also in the fire zone. So you have to take Cypress Way and then a windy road to get to it. So there's only one exit. You're in a fire zone. So if the fire actually happens, you better have some protection there. It's a beautiful house. Let's take a look inside real quick. Wow. Opulent, very skinny. And here's the deal, guys. Right? When you're looking at houses, I don't care if you're looking at $10 million houses, $2 million houses. If the house has been on market 60, 70, 90 days, you have options to come in and write an offer that suits your needs, period. If the house is overpriced, you should be asking for discounts and concessions. This is a beautiful house. In a regular market, this probably could have sold at 10 million, but the market's contracting, and that's where we are right now. Let's take a look at this one. This is the highest list price to sales price ratio, Summerhill Ave in Los Altos, listed at 3, sold for 4.8. Not my listing. 2 bedroom, 1 bath, $5 million for 2 bedroom. You know why they bought it? Because it's an acre. It's worth the lot. Yeah, see, that thing is going to be torn down. It was just ruthless. The value is in the land there. And let's take a look at the lowest cost house in Santa Clara County. This one sold for the least amount of money, $730,000. Vine Street, not my listing, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 170 square feet, 115 years old. And let's take a quick look inside. Everything's original. Yeah, this thing is a rental.